Look on your social media feeds. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Krypton's Legacy, a Superman podcast. Covering all of Clark Kent's greatest adventures in comics, film, and animation. With your hosts, Adam and Nick.
Welcome to another episode of Krypton's Legacy, a Superman podcast. As always, I'm your host, Adam, and with me is my co-host, Nick. Nick, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing great, brother. Happy to be back here, and how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I finally have, well, you can't see it because of the camera, but I have a Superman shirt
look
on.
at that.
Yeah,
Look at that.
I have a Superman shirt on.
Ready to go, 7-Eleven.
Just for the folks at home who have watched the
There you
last
go.
few episodes and have seen me wear leaf tops, you won't see that until October. And that's all I'm going to say about that. It's full steam ahead to the summer of Superman now.
We send our condolences to you.
Goodbye, Mitch Marner. It was not nice having you. And you're the Lex Luthor of the hockey world, just with better hair. But anyway, today's a good episode because
It's a great episode.
apparently this is the first full trailer for Superman, even though we had a 2.5-minute teaser trailer, a 5-minute preview clip, and a behind-the-scenes featurette. But here's the first official trailer, the trailer one, I guess you'd call it. So the main topic of conversation is going to be us discussing it, dissecting it, sharing our thoughts, and all of that. There's some minor bits of news to cover first. Millie Alcock, who is playing Supergirl in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and another DC film coming out prior to Supergirl, which has yet to be officially named, but we all know what it is. So she was on Jimmy Fallon. As of this recording, it was yesterday. By the time you hear it, it's probably a week or two ago, but whatever. Anyway, she was on Jimmy Fallon, and he was all excited, like saying, "Oh, you're going to be Supergirl. That's cool. That's exciting. And what can you tell us?" To which she replied, "I can't tell you nothing." And I don't know if it was on Fallon or another talk show that she did promoting, I don't know, a Netflix movie or a show that she's doing or whatever.
Yeah.
But the interviewer asked her about the rumors that she's going to be in Superman, where she said, "I'd love to talk about it, but I can't. I don't want to get sued." First of all, it's the worst kept secret in the world that she's going to be in Supergirl, in Superman. So if she's not in Supergirl,
If she's not in Supergirl, that's something.
it's the worst kept secret that she's going to be in Superman. Also, I mean, there was a recent description of Superman on HBO Max, like the blurb about the movie. And in the cast list, it says Millie Alcock as Kara Zor-El, Supergirl. So, I mean, what more evidence do you need? She doesn't even have to say it. Everybody knows. But one of the things she did reveal in the interview is the fact that the film wrapped. It's done. She finished on Friday. So two things that sort of sparked out at me regarding that is this. How fast it seemed to have gone by, at least for us, because, I mean, it just like flew by. The other thing is we only got, maybe 10 total paparazzi behind-the-scenes pics.
Mm-hmm.
And it is rare for one of these types of movies. What are your thoughts on her appearance on the talk shows, but also the fact that the film's wrapped already?
Yeah, well, I mean, she's great. She was great on Fallon. She has a lot of enthusiasm. She's easy on the eyes, all that great stuff.
Wait.
Yes, where's the pen? Where's the
right here. On the list.
But it's cool. It's cool to just hear that, like, she's excited. Obviously, it makes all the sense in the world that she can't say much or let the cat out of the bag for obvious reasons. I think it's you hit the nail on the head. It's the worst kept secret that she most likely is going to be in Superman, which is going to lead directly into Supergirl. I mean, I could bet all the Monopoly money in the world on that one.
Mhm.
And it's awesome to see that the movie wrapped. Like, it's done. I mean, like, it's incredible, like you said, that it's probably one of the more smooth sailing DC productions I think we've had in recent memory.
Yeah,
Considering what we did get was even like a a hairline
it was
tease of
blurry. It
something.
was blurry.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
not even like a clear look. So obviously when that suit reveal and all that other stuff is gonna drop, it's gonna be amazing and we're all gonna be excited. So it's cool to see her get the ball rolling. I know David Zaslav on
Yeah, we
had
should talk
mentioned
about.
that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
she's one of the cornerstones, or she's
Yeah.
going to be one of the cornerstones of the DCU, next to Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, and that's really, really cool and exciting. It should give a lot of people
Yeah. Uh,
hope that she's going to be a franchise player.
the interesting part about that is that when he said those comments, he specifically was talking about James Gunn's DCU.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's great that he mentioned Supergirl because it's cool that she's being put in that position. It's nice for Wonder Woman fans who were complaining that there was nothing about Wonder Woman. Where is it? Well, don't worry. It's really cool that he mentioned Batman. No, because we knew Superman was going to be a cornerstone. Duh, it's the first one. But the fact that he mentioned DCU Batman, not Matt Reeves' Batman, DCU Batman, suggests to me, and I know this is the Superman podcast, so I'll make it quick, but suggests to me that sooner rather than later, DCU Batman's coming.
Right.
So for anybody under the delusion that they're going to wait 45 years for Matt Reeves to finish the some supposed trilogy, I got news for you. I got a bridge to sell you, actually. So I'll sell you Mitch Marner's contract. How about that? 13 million.
Good luck getting someone to buy that.
Anyway, but yeah, that's about as much nonsense as the idea of waiting for Matt Reeves to finish.
It's a short list.
Yeah. So I just found that interesting that the DCU Batman was also highlighted because I think he's coming soon, probably around Clayface. But that's just me. So yeah, but again, it's really cool to see Supergirl being put in as a pillar of the DCU, and it's just mentioning those four, the fact that they're four heavy hitters. You know, notice Zaslav didn't say, well, they're going to focus on Booster Gold and Ambush Bug and the Metal Man. Like, they specifically mentioned, core big time characters, and I think that's I like hearing that because as much as I'm like, sure, as we get going, give me a Sergeant Rock movie, give me the Blue Beetle series and movie, give me the whatever else you want to do with side characters. But let's first get our footing under us, and then explore those avenues. So I like that as well. On the Superman front, to change things up a bit in terms of news, there's going to be a fan screening being put on by Amazon Prime. I think it's July 7th.
It's the 7th or the 8th. I want to say it was the 7th. Might be both.
I think it could be both, but I think it's the 7th.
Yes.
Which would be 4 days before the release of the film. I think the fact that they're doing one shows a lot of confidence in film. Number one. I don't know how to access this I don't know how to go about potentially getting tickets for this thing. I don't think it was specified. I'm assuming there will be some specification as we get closer.
Yeah. I think you have to have Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah, that's a pro.
Yeah, you have to have a Prime account, and then you go on there.
You can't just go on Amazon and order a ticket for that.
Yeah.
But the particulars of how to go about procuring one, which cities it's actually taking place in, is it just
it's select cities, which is
it just the U.S.? Like, is Toronto going to get one? Probably not. But if we do, if we're not Amazon, I got a deal for you. We'll trade you Mitch Marner for a Superman screening. How about that?
It's tempting, but you know.
Anybody's call, I'm still angry. Side note, Serenity Law, as Frank Costanza would say, didn't work on Sunday, by the way. I was screaming it for 2.5 hours. But, so yeah, hopefully those details will become available. But again, I think it shows confidence in the film to show it 4 or 5 days early. The one caution that I will give Warner Brothers, not that they listen to me, because why would they? But the one caution that I would ask is that don't do 45 of these like you did with The Flash. 1, 2, sure, that's it. People want to see Superman, they pay. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my take on it. What's your take on the fan first screening or whatever it's called?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it just showed insane confidence that they're willing to show the movie a few days early. It's typical, right? Like usually, like we're used to seeing like a movie like of that caliber being shown on like 2 days beforehand or something like that, or maybe like the day before. Maybe there's one earlier in the day on the day of like on that Thursday, like at 2 o'clock or something. But it's a great sign. I am with you that I'm glad that it seems like they're not oversaturating the movie early on, like they've done with The Flash and so many other studios have done with so many other movies.
Yeah.
I can't confirm that might also be when I'm seeing the movie.
Okay, cool.
For my as a critic,
Yeah.
it might be earlier than that. I can't unfortunately confirm that yet. But it is going to probably be around that time frame, which I'm very,
Cool.
very excited about as well.
Nice.
But it's cool. I'm hoping this plays in their favor. I hope that they know what they're doing. They know what they got. Because I would have been fine if there was no early fan screening for this movie. And just like you said, just let everybody pay for it and let it just be like a theatrical event of the summer. But I'm gonna choose to believe it. Like they know what they got and they're just trying to drive the word of mouth for weeks to come with this movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna choose to believe.
Yeah. One more thing worth kind of throwing out there news-wise. Now, again, grain of salt because I don't trust this guy as much as I could throw him. He's probably in terms of my good graces. The next person I'm going to mention is about where Mitch Marner is, and that's not very high. And that's Jeff Snyder. I think he's a clown, but anyway, he's reporting that he's hearing that internal numbers. Box office prediction for opening weekend for Superman, I'm assuming this is in North America,
Yes.
are between 145 and 175 million. If Superman does that anywhere in that vicinity, start the conga line at DC Studios.
Yeah.
Start the party. Put the barbecue on, get the hamburgers, the steaks. Why am I not invited to this thing? But anyway, get this thing going.
Yeah.
I'll call it even, James. Just give me Millie Alcock's phone number. I won't have no barbecue. Anyway, or Rachel Brosnahan has number, or who plays?
Hey, well, careful. We're going to get David Mann now. We don't want him. We don't want him Bizarro Superman early now.
Listen, that's all right. I got kryptonite somewhere handy here. Anyway,
we want him to stay good in this world. Come on now.
I'll just start yelling Martha and see what happens. If it makes anywhere in that vicinity, I think we're gold. Because again, and I'm going to say this, we've said this before, I don't think, a lot of fans, oh my God, it's not going to make $1 billion. What happens if it doesn't make $1 billion? I don't think it needs to.
No, it doesn't need to.
My stance is this. I don't know this for a fact, but just because it's James Gunn, I'm going to say the budget for this movie is somewhere between 150 and 185.
Under 200 million.
I don't.
Let's just say that
it's 200 or more.
Right.
So with that being said, let's use the 150 to 185 barometer as a thing. If this thing gets good reviews from critics, okay, and even let's say worst case scenario makes exactly the same amount of money worldwide that Man of Steel made, Williams will take that as a win. You want to know why? Because it was reviewed well. and because it would have cost less than Man of Steel, therefore it doesn't need to make much more to make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
So it all again, the measure of how much money does it actually have to make to be a success, we won't know until we know the actual production budget.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be the key factor.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I like if this thing makes Man of Steel to the Batman money, I think Warner Brothers is over the moon.
Right.
Now, as a fan, would I like it to make? And I'm just gonna say it, what BVS did. Like if it equals or surpasses BVS by $1, will I be
Mm-hmm.
laughing my ass off? Yeah, because it's gonna piss off a bunch of losers who have been going nonstop since 2016. But it does again. I don't think it has to do that for it to be a successful movie.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just shut up a certain amount, group of people that need to shut up already at this
Right.
point. So,
Mm-hmm.
but again, I think, like I said, anywhere between 650 to the Batman worldwide numbers, I think Warner Brothers would be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it would allow James Gunn's DCU to continue full steam ahead. He could do whatever he wants, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Right.
Nick, what's your thought on that
Mm-hmm.
projected window of opening weekend box office returns?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's fascinating to note is that yes, the online buzz in discourse is very, very strong and it's high depending on what your algorithm is. The movie's either going to be one of the biggest movies of the year and of the summer, or you think that this movie's gonna take and it's gonna crash and burn. That number being so high, I'm kind of with you. I'm maybe more so near like 125. If it hits 150, I think that's huge. That's domestic, by the way. That's not worldwide.
Yeah, yeah,
If it hits that opening weekend, that's amazing.
yeah,
I know I have said before that I feel like the benchmark for this movie should just be that it becomes the highest grossing Superman movie. It
yeah,
outgrosses Man of Steel,
yeah,
and its benchmark should be hitting the sevens, meaning that like if it comes near the Batman or if it just hits 700 million,
yeah,
anything after that to me should be considered gravy.
yeah,
I'm not expecting this movie to make a billion just because that's the summer is so competitive, and
yeah,
this being the first true DC movie that we've had
yeah,
in a few years now. I think you just need to gain the trust back with the audience, make a great movie, let this be the best Superman movie that we've ever had. So this put like it needs to make a billion. I think we just need to stop
yeah,
that. I just think it as long as it outgrosses Man of Steel. If it makes less than Man of Steel, that's a whole nother discussion, and we shouldn't pray that that happens. But as long as this is the highest grossing Superman movie, or it ends up being so, I'm definitely okay with that.
yeah, yeah. I agree. So, I mean, we'll find out. But
Mhm.
I think all indications so far. Again, we haven't had any reviews, so we don't know.
Right.
But just by metrics, so in terms of how much the teaser gained in viewership, 50 million
Hmm.
plus. In what less than a week,
Right.
the new trailer that we're going to discuss after the break has like 27 million views in
Hmm.
like 3 or 4 days or something ridiculous. So
Yeah.
so the awareness is there.
Right. Like there is interest. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So all signs that is very
Yeah.
good. That's a very good sign. So
One teaser of which played in front of Minecraft, a movie that's close to a billion. So it's fine. It's
right. So
fine.
a lot of people are seeing, right? A
Right.
lot of people, yeah.
Awareness is not an issue.
And I'm assuming this new trailer that we're going to talk about probably is going to air with Mission Impossible and then Lilo and Stitch. So
Right. Yeah.
two other movies that are going to get a lot of play
Hmm.
in front of audiences. So that's a good sign. So we'll see. But all things are trending in a positive direction right now. So let's hope they can keep that going.
Hmm.
But that's it for the news. We'll take a quick break. And then on the other side of the break, we'll come back and tell you about our thoughts of the first official trailer for James Gunn's Superman. We'll be right back.
That's nice. How's the Zoom transition going for you?
Well, I did one. We did one with. I did one with Chris the
Okay,
other day, and
nice.
uh, it was good. I downloaded Team. Like I switched to Teams from
Mm-hmm.
Skype, which was pretty easy
Sure.
to do. Didn't take much. The only thing I noticed for that. So two things. In order to like, I could let's say if I just want to shoot the shit with you,
Mm-hmm.
I could call you on there, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is if it's not a scheduled meeting, I can't record it,
Gotcha.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to actually schedule it as a meeting, like you do here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but the other thing I found out is because it's free, you only get an hour of talk time.
Right. Yes, you have to do the paid version. Yeah.
That's not going to be uh, effective for a podcast because even me and Donnie go,
Mm-hmm.
115, 120. That's
Right. Yeah.
right. So
Yeah. You need something. Yeah. Right.
and then I'm like, I was already paying for this, so I'm like, I'll just do this.
Right. Yeah.
So whatever, and it's fine. And
Yeah. No. Yeah. Trust me. I remember it back in the COVID days because like everybody needed it, but I remember back when it was they kind of allowed a free. It was like a
yeah.
free thing or whatever, like a six
Teams
month,
is
three
easy.
month
It's easy
thing.
to use though. Like
Right. Yeah.
it's very easy to use. It's.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just think it's stupid that I can't hop on and click the record
Right.
button and
Yeah.
away
Yeah.
you go, right?
Yeah. And obviously, like it downloads your file right away, which is cool. And
Yeah,
yeah, I think it even gives me one at the end too. Like you can
yeah,
opt
I
to
think
have
so.
me have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
yeah in case
yeah,
you need it. So
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
cool part.
Yeah, it does everything for you. Then all I gotta do
Right.
is here, Bonnie, I wrote you the file. Go ahead and edit it. Like
Yeah.
have fun, right? So,
Yep.
but yeah, you good? Ready to go?
I'm good.
All right, here we go in three, two. And we're back, and as promised, we're going to talk about trailer one of James Gunn's Superman. Nick, the trailer has finally arrived after much. When's it coming out? When are we getting the trailer? How long is it going to be until James Gunn starts getting questions about when's the trailer still coming?
Yeah.
The poor guy just
No.
poor guy just can't catch a break. Although, look, let's be fair, there probably is one coming, but let the guy
Right.
breathe. Let the
Yeah.
guy breathe for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, so one of the things I love about this trailer, just in right off the hop, is the fact that it's the a good portion of the first, let's say, first half, is framed around an interview between Lois and Superman. It's Lois and Clark, but she's interviewing him as Superman. Uh, and here's what I'll just on the interview part, and just before we get into anything else, what I
Mhm.
loved about that interview scenario was the interaction, the banter, and the chemistry between Lois and Clark, and then obviously David Cornswell and Rachel Brosnahan. Also, Rachel Brosnahan on the list. Um,
Yep. Yep.
but just like you could set like I love the fact where when Clark agrees to do the interview as Superman, you can hear the uh, I don't want to say meekness, but his voice was like more. He
Yep.
sounded
Switches.
less confident,
More of a
shy,
stoic. Yeah.
right? And
Hmm.
and then I love that he calls her like when she's like, "You ready?" and he's like, "Let's go, Cronkite." The
Yeah.
fact that he references like a real world reporter, like that he has a nickname for her, like that's so. It reminded
Yeah.
me of Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman. That
Yeah.
aspect,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So then when she starts the interview, Lois is like Superman, and then he sits up, his voice goes deeper, and he says Miss Lane, and look, if the trailer had ended there, I would have been sold because that's all I needed. I'm like, look, there is a
Hmm.
transition. He's doing the thing that Christopher Reeve did. These two guys, Clark and Superman, are two separate characters. Finally, on film, for the first time since 2006,
Mm-hmm.
they're two separate characters again. Um, so I love that. The other thing I loved about the interview itself is the fact that, yes, they're clearly dating because they were playing kissy face before they started the interview. Um, in spite of that, when Lois is doing the interview, she's hitting on him, like she's hitting him hard with the
Mm-hmm.
questions. Like that's a like as a legitimate reporter would do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, Lois feels like a reporter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the word I will use is legitimacy. And when Rachel Brosnahan in an interview says she actually interviewed and studied actual reporters, I could see it based on that, and it was great. Um, well, I love that. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, what we find out is that what's happened is Superman intervened in a war and stopped the war. I'm assuming in Bavaria or whatever the country's name is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's fictional, so don't accuse me of not knowing my geography. Um, but although I'm not that great, but anyway. Um, so Superman has stopped the war, and the U.S. government and some of the people, U.S. citizenry, or maybe even people of the world, are not too happy about that. And um, that's what ultimately leads, I think, to Rick Flag and Ultraman and the engineer bringing him in, because we see that scene where uh, Superman is being led away from the courthouse in handcuffs. Like we see that
Mm-hmm.
the scene that we saw the spy pictures of. Um, and then so we're getting some more footage, like we're getting that footage, and then we're cutting back and forth between the interview, and Lois is basically going off about, did you even consider consulting the president before you went in there and intervened? And he's like, no. And she was like, well, I would have questioned myself before, And he's like, but people, like, what would you want me to do? People were going to die. And in that scene, Superman is getting agitated, like his voice is getting raised, and some people, oh, Superman should never get agitated. Why not? Why can't Superman get agitated? Do we want him to be some cardboard monotone cutout? Because I don't. Read a comic, you'll see Superman get agitated lots of time. But the point is, what I liked about it was his conviction when he said people were going to die. He didn't follow that up, but I'm assuming the assumption is that no matter anything else, the most important thing is saving lives to this Superman. And that is just so refreshing. Um, it just gets Superman 100% bang on. And then as he says the words, people are going to die, we see a shot of Superman. First, he's battling in the sky with, it's the guy in the robot suit, or guy, woman, we don't know.
Mm.
It's the Hammer of Bavaria, right? Is what it's
Yeah,
called.
yeah, that's what it is.
So
Yep.
you see them fighting in the sky, and then Superman falls to the ground and creates this crater into the ground. So before we go any further, what was your take on the way the trailer started, the way it was framed by the interview? Give us some thoughts on that.
Yeah, honestly, I love the opening, by the way. Like I love seeing them front and center and they're kicking it off. Especially with their chemistry, which is just electric at this point. I mean, I feel like I got a crash course in chemistry just by watching those two.
Oh yeah,
It was an interesting decision, to open it up with kind of like this difference of opinion, I guess, if that's what you really want to call it.
yeah,
Right? Like it was very intense, and she's questioning his motives and
right,
his rationale as Superman, and he's almost agitated because, like, well, I was doing the right thing. Why should
yeah,
that matter? Right? So it
yeah,
was very interesting. He's a young, kind of cocky,
Yeah.
upbeat Superman, right? And she's like the feisty reporter that's
Yeah.
trying to nail him. But it works. Like I've said it before, the secret sauce, the secret ingredient, that's gonna be key for this movie is you buying into the romance
Yeah. Yeah.
between Superman and Lois Lane, between
Yeah.
Lois Lane and Clark Kent. Like if that part was nailed, then I think it's all systems go from here. Honestly, he says there's the one line in his whole trailer, and there's multiple things I love about this trailer.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. But Adam, you hit the nail on the head. It's him saying people were going to die.
Right.
Like that to me already tells me that James Gunn got Superman. He knows what needed to be done, and he's given us a terrific Superman movie. So that was just incredible. Like, the way he said it too.
Yeah.
Superman as I've been reading and watching him my entire life.
Yeah.
Just beautiful stuff. There's more good stuff that follows that up,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I thought
Of
this
course.
was this was a great. I think this was a great introduction because you really have to sell me on these two,
Yeah.
in particular. So I thought it was while it was interesting, it maybe wouldn't have been what I would have done personally to show an argument as like the introduction
Yeah. Yeah.
to these characters. I think that again, the trailer you always have to fit the needs for the trailer, right? So that
Yeah.
scene, I'm sure, is out of context. It's
Sure.
discombobulated. One scene might not directly
It's a portion of
di-
12 minute
right
of a
dialogue
12-minute
might not
scene.
be
Yeah.
following up after
Yeah.
the other. So you're only
Yeah.
supposed to see what
Yeah.
what the trailer wants you to see. So I don't think that's the whole thing. So like to take it and rip it out of context, I think is wrong to do. But I think you get the gist of it, and this is. To me, this is how you do Superman in a political way without doing him in a political way.
Right. Yeah.
The fact that he just went into a country uninvited, but he saved a bunch of lives,
Yeah.
and he stopped the war, but he might have done so, without full context. So
Right. Right.
it's a narrative enough that I can get behind it. It's not complicated, which I like. It's
Yeah.
simplistic enough.
Yeah.
So I'm in. I thought this was great.
So then the trailer, so he falls to the ground. There's a big crater in the ground, and you see like a crowd forming around him, and they're calling out to him, saying Superman. And one guy actually helps Superman get up from the crater. And at that point, you hear the start of the John Williams score,
Mm-hmm.
and it was so perfectly timed. I started to get emotional when I heard
Yeah.
it. And coupled with the ordinary human being helping Superman out of the crater. You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Both in Spider, I think, because both Spider-Man 1 and 2, the people help Spider-Man, and
Yep.
I like that because again, it's making the point that this Superman is not an untouchable God hovering in the sky while people reach out because their house is basically being engulfed by rising waters and a flood and all that, and they're not reaching out to him, and he's just hovering there. Like he's actually approachable. They're helping him. It's the reverse, and it's very human. And I like when the city and the people in the city in these comic book movies are an important part of the plot, not just random props for the hero to save or to die in a massive explosion or whatnot. So I really like that aspect of it. And if I'm comparing it to the Sam Raimi first two Spider-Man movies, that's a good thing because those are still top tier quality examples of this genre. So I think it's a good thing to be compared to that. Then there's a scene where you see Superman. He says, "Hey, buddy, eyes up here," and then he flies up, and the
Yep.
camera trails below him and catches up with him.
Mm-hmm.
And just Superman saying, "Hey, buddy, eyes up here." That is Superman having a bit of a personality is such a refreshing, at least on film. Yeah, again, when I say I'm specifically talking about film. Never television's done it very well, but on film, Superman having a personality is such a refreshing change from stoic constipation to just mimicking, doing a mimic of Christopher Reeve, because those are the two spectrums we've had. We've had copy Christopher Reeve or stand there and act constipated for 3 films. Like that's the range. There's been nothing in between. So I liked seeing him have a personality, and why I liked it so much, because it reminds me of the late 80s Superman, the John Byrne era Superman. That's what I grew in terms of comics. That's the Superman that I read. So to see that in live action, I couldn't be happier. And then we get some scenes with Superman actually saving people from the big kaiju that's about to crush some woman, and Superman swoops in and saves her. We then get a few scenes of and while he's saving people, you hear a voiceover from Jonathan Kent saying, your actions, what does he say? He says
your actions, your choices, they make you who you are.
Yeah, they make you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's all interspersed with Superman saving people. And then we see a flashback of young Clark running to Jonathan for a hug. And then we see the scene we've seen before where Clark puts his arm around his father.
Mm-hmm.
Present day. And just those words from Jonathan, I'm like, yes, see? This is what Jonathan should say, and it stopped right there. And I hope there's nothing stupid after that. Maybe. There was no maybe. There was no hesitation. You shouldn't have let that woman get crushed by a kaiju. There was none of that. Thank you. This is Jonathan Kent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I love that. And again, I don't know if it's the combination of the flashback of the running hug and then Clark. Again, I was getting emotional. I think I'm just because I'm getting old and I get more emotional as I get older.
Sure.
So we get that. Then we get some Lex Luthor. So we see him and the engineer have apparently broken into the Fortress of Solitude. How they got in is going to be interesting because of the door. There's actually a door this time. So how did they break into the door? That's a question that I have. It's not like the older movies where there's a big gaping hole that you can just walk right in.
Anybody can just go in.
Yeah, so there's a door. So how did they get in, right? But the engineer starts. She's got apparently she has blades, or she can form blades.
Yeah, that was cool.
Blades, and she starts slicing those damn robots in half. And then you see Krypto growling at her, and then he launches attacks and scratches her, which is cool. It's cool to see Krypto kicking some ass. Yeah. By the way, I've seen a lot of people online say, "Oh, I hope they don't hurt Krypto." Listen, at least for this movie, Krypto's going to be.
Yeah, he's safe for this movie. Yeah. It's the next one we got to worry about.
We know he's going to be. He should be in Supergirl tomorrow. So don't worry about that, at least for now. Also, I would caution you to read Supergirl tomorrow.
Or maybe not. You might be traumatized.
Maybe just until after the movie. But so then we see the imagery of Superman captured, and Lex is doing a voiceover where he's saying, he's not a man, he's an it. And he's the focal point of the world's attention, and I won't stand for that. Mm-hmm. And so we see Superman captured, and he's being beat up with some kind of like a taser by Lex's armed guards or whatever, mech armored guards, and he's in the cages, and you see Metamorpho in one cage and all that. Just the line delivery, like you can tell that, like the hatred was oozing out of Nicholas Holt's voice, and his accent was really good. Like the English accent, like the American
Mhm.
accent was really good. Um, and he just has that, he has that smarmy, arrogant look that is just perfect for Lex. Yeah, because it's somebody you want to punch in the face. And
Mhm.
that's what you should feel when you see Lex, is that you want to punch this guy in the face. Um, then we cut to a scene where Superman is, I guess, on the farm. He's been beat up. He's being nursed back to health by his mom, his dad, and Lois seems to be there too.
Mhm.
At least the way the trailers cut. And then we get a scene where Superman's standing up again. He's in the Kent farm and he's watching. I guess he's watching a news feed of what's going on. And you hear Martha say, "I cleaned your boots. I'll get them for you." And first of all, I love it. It's so heartwarming because how involved she is in the creation of the Superman suit, or the
Mhm.
maintaining of the Superman suit. But as he's walking towards wherever he's going to go, you see that Jonathan's there. So at least up to this point of whatever they're showing us, both the Kents are alive, and I pray to God that it stays that way. Because I love this dynamic. Just having them both there in the trailer was so refreshing.
Yep.
Um, and then, so before we get to the next scene where we see him fight the kaiju, what did you think of all that stuff with Lex and
Mm.
Crypto and the Fortress? And
Oh, I mean, honestly, the best compliment that I can give this trailer and everything that I've seen up until this point is that it really, and then this is the best compliment that I can give it, is it just feels like it's Superman the animated series brought to live action. Like
yeah,
this
agreed.
feels like it's just such a comic book Superman movie. Like you have all these heroes, you got all these different
Yeah,
comic book elements finally incorporated into this movie. The action just looks very very cool. I'm with you. It's cool to see like okay, it's like the robot being destroyed like now has a lot of significance to why
yeah,
Superman would be emotional over it.
yeah,
The stuff with the parents too, dude. I'm with you. I mean, we've been covering all these incarnations of Superman, and every one of them that's great has the Kents alive,
yeah,
and you see how much more better it is because of it, right? Like
yeah,
this idea that he's a human that has these abilities. He can just go home and seek guidance from his parents. I mean, like that's incredible. I mean, I was actually getting more emotional
yeah,
over his mom telling him that
yeah,
he cleaned his boots, and that
yeah,
you see like his confidence just rise up at okay, you know what? I'm gonna go save the goddamn world now because now my parents believe in me. He probably gets a nice pep talk from Lois, right? Like all that stuff is like set up so beautifully. The civilians like going to help him and him saving all these people. The nail on the head, dude. If this movie has somehow nails a combination of Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, I mean like
oh,
this could be like an all-timer. I
oh
mean like
yeah,
I don't say that to be biased or anything like that, but I mean like if you can somehow make an origin as beautiful and fulfilling as like the Spider-Man 1 and then create a emotionally driven movie as Spider-Man 2, I mean like
yeah,
man, like that's it right there. Um, so all the players are at hand here. You know, Nicholas Holt is still the one where I see the vision, but it hasn't exactly passed my smell test just yet. I'm sure he's gonna be great in the movie. I
see
feel the
more of it for
animosity,
sure. Yeah,
right? You know, but he's definitely like the one where I'm like, I'm sure I'm gonna love him when I see the movie. Because I just need to see him on screen.
getting worse than the
Um,
last Lex we had though on
right,
film.
exactly. So I'm not concerned like by
Yeah, yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah,
By what I've seen. So,
yeah, yeah.
and then I know the other part. I don't know if you touched on this too, but it was cool to see the I guess with the Justice Gang because Peacemaker season 2 spoiled that.
We're gonna get there now. But
Right.
so the next part of the trailer was like you see Superman flying off, and he does that bank turn that kind of Christopher Reeve would do, and then uppercuts the kaiju. And I thought that was fantastic.
Hmm.
And then, like you said, we're treated to a montage of clips from the Justice Gang, and I'm fine with them being called that for now. Like they're not the fully formed Justice League yet, so it's fine. We see Mr. Terrific do some cool stuff with his T-spheres. He takes out a bunch of Lex's goons.
Hmm.
Hawk Girl, it looks like she's flying Lex pretty violently through a window. And yes, Isabella Merced on the list. So she's flying Lex through a window, which is pretty cool. And then we see Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, create a construct of a hand that swats the tanks away. Now, people were complaining because there wasn't a tether between the Green Lantern ring.
You can see the ring on his finger. Come on.
No, like a tether, between the ring and the construct.
Sure.
Again, to those people, tell me you've never read a Green Lantern comic without telling me you've never read a Green Lantern comic. Read a comic. For God's sake, that's all I'm going to... Again, I'm angry. Don't piss me off after what I just saw on Sunday. I'm already agitated. I don't need to read this nonsense. Read a comic. Anyway.
Be nice to Adam, y'all. Come on.
It's fine. It's fine. It's a Green Lantern thing. Again, read a comic. Nothing's... James Gunn knows his crap. It's fine. But the swatting of the tanks was cool. And then again, we get the shot of and there's the one shot where you first see them and they kind of all three of them are hovering in the sky. But Mr. Terrific is sitting on his T-sphere thing.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Hawkgirl and Green Lantern are hovering. They're like just visually, it looks so like, and the sunlight is engulfing them.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it nice to have sunlight in a Superman? Fantastic. And then we get the shot of Superman and Lois, kissing, like hovering and flying and kissing. Must have sucked to have David Cornswell's job. He got paid to kiss Rita. I mean, what horrible working conditions he had to go through.
I'm sure he really hated making the movie.
Sarcasm, folks. And then we see him flying through the fire, like upwards through the fire, right? But then we has a new wrinkle to that scene where we see him come down really quickly. It looks like he's doing like a cannonball punch, like you're diving into a pool, which was really cool. Then the Superman logo comes up, and we get a post logo sequence of Lois asking Superman, presumably during the interview scene, where she's like, "So you have a dog?" And we cut to a scene back on the Kent farm. Superman's in his childhood bed, I'm assuming when he was recovering from the damage he took. And Krypton's lying on top of him, just like looking at him adorably and lovingly. And you see his little tail wagging back and forth. It was just so adorable. And again, I mean, if you're not heartwarmed by a scene like that, there is something wrong with you. So I loved it. I love this trailer had a more serious tone. So for anybody that was worried about, it's all going to be jokey, because that's all James Gunn knows how to do, I think you're wrong. And this trailer kind of shows it. But again, I'm going to, just to wrap up here, my thoughts. I thought it was a fantastic trailer. It showed me pretty much everything I wanted, in the sense that we got... Most of the focus was still on Lois and Clark, Superman and Lois. With a little bit more of Lex, which was nice. And we got some insanely cool action shots. We have a little bit more story detail, in the sense that we know why Ultraman and Rick Flag Sr. and the engineer are after him, because, again, I think Rick Flag is like the Secretary of Defense at this point, or something.
Yeah.
And the U.S. government's mad that he went into that country unsanctioned, and so that there's a plot point. We know why Lex hates Superman, right? Like he said it in the trailer, so we've got more context for that. We saw some really cool action, which is what I wanted, and they managed to keep the cute stuff with Krypto, but that wasn't the only thing that mattered in this trailer. Like they've taken, they're starting to promote the rest of the movie now. Like they've got this one's good for kids. They won't see Superman get impaled by a spear. You can take your kids to this. So they've gotten. I think they've covered, like, for a trailer. This was a good 4-quadrant trailer. You know what I mean? Because it covers. It's got the nostalgia for the older family. It's got the title cards were very reminiscent of the Chris Reeve era. Yeah. It had John Williams score peppered in. For the kids, it still had Krypto doing crypto things and all that, and robots. And then for the adults, it had a more, like, you got a more meaningful, deeper plot, a more serious plot. But again, I think you said it best. The best compliment I can give this is that it feels like Superman the Animated Series come to life. And much like Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series was also a quintessential depiction of Superman outside of the comic books. So if we're getting basically Superman the Animated Series in live action, I'm here for it, I'm ready for it, and I love it. Give it to me. There is nothing now that I want more than July 11th to just get here. Hockey's done for me. I don't have that in the background anymore. Just fast forward to July 11th. I don't care. And so I was thrilled with this trailer. No notes is what I would say. Maybe a little bit more Lex Luthor, but otherwise no notes.
Sure.
But what are some of your final thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts are, look, man. I had tears, literal tears, and tears of joy. Right, not because this was a trailer that I already didn't need to see that much. Like, honestly, I felt like I got a good majority of what I wanted from the teaser trailer and then the sneak peek. Like, really, I didn't really need this trailer, to be honest. Like, I was already sold, but I'm glad that we got a little bit more of a narrative focus in this one. Because really what it nailed down is that James Gunn nailed the 3 H's for me, right? He nailed the heart, he nailed the humor, and he nailed the heroics. And if you can nail that core 3, you got your Superman movie.
Agreed.
The tone of this movie, look, I mean, this is a guy who made 3 highly regarded MCU movies in the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sure there's somewhat of a tone similar to that, and those were very humorous but also very serious movies. So if you're unsure about that, just go rewatch the Guardians movies.
Yeah,
you'll be fine. This movie's gonna be fine. I'm not stressing over that. But this is it. Like this is it from me. I need this movie to be great. I don't need it to be good. I need this movie to be great. I need this to be the movie that sets DC on the right path moving forward for the foreseeable future. So I'm all in on this movie. I loved everything that I saw. Like I said, my investment was already there. But I think you hit the nail on the head too. I think this is a trailer that if you're already into it, it kind of it's hitting on all the right beats and all the right notes for people of all ages to be able to go and enjoy this movie. It's not a dig, so I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, but it would tell you that already this is the antithesis to what Snyder was doing with Superman.
And it needed to be that.
By default, it's a more fun, lighthearted, upbeat Superman that's going to be for people of all ages.
And it needed to be that because the general audience spoke. The general audience, whether people like it or not, said, we're not into this. Yeah. So, I mean, you had to go a different way. And again, I think there's a misconception with certain people that because of the last decade of movies, Superman has to be dark, serious, and, as much as a Superman movie can be, grounded. No, that's not Superman. Superman is fantastical. It's fun. It's, sure, when he dies, it's not fun, but aside from that, yes, there are big stakes. He stops alien threats, but there has to be adventure. There has to be heroism. There has to be, these are the things. When you ask people what makes Superman Superman, I bet you if you ask 10 people, none of them, at the very least, will not say, "I want a dark and gritty hero who mopes and who doesn't know who he is and occasionally snaps a neck and stands there when the courthouse explodes and sheds a tear." This is that. Again, that's a take, and it's valid. Despite me not liking it all that much, it's valid. And if you like that, great. I'm happy for you. You have 3 movies where that's all you get. Go for it. Enjoy it. But by default, based on the general audience's reaction to the past iterations of Superman, they said, we're not really into that. Give us something else. And so this is the something else. I think it's taking it back to the book that a book like the one you have behind you, in All-Star Superman. It's taking it
Oh, dude, yeah, all over this trailer. Yeah,
it's taking it back to the action figures. You
Yep.
know, you have the animated series. So that's what I grew up on. I grew up on the animated series. I grew up on Lois and Clark, and I got elements of that in this trailer. And I can't wait. Give it to me. And so, job well done, James. I know there's going to be another trailer. I don't necessarily need one. Am I going to watch the new one? Of course I will, because I'm a sucker.
yeah.
And I'll watch it. But so far, job well done. I just need this movie to be here already.
Yep.
I need it.
And we're what? We're 7, at least from this week. We're what, 7, 8 weeks out
Yeah,
at this
something
point.
like that.
Like
Yeah,
so,
it's not that far. It's not that far away. 50 some odd days. So let's go. I don't care that 2 weeks after that movie debuts, I'll be another year older, but so be it. Whatever. It's fine. It is what it is. Anyway, love the trailer. We hope you enjoyed listening to us discuss the trailer. We'll be back to talk more Superman on our road to the Superman movie. But until then, you can keep in touch with Nick and I online. So, Nick, where do they drag you down?
our last show before Superman, Adam. Could you believe that? Wow, look at that. No, I know.
Your last one is
Well, look at that. No, this journey, this road to Superman.
wait, is it gonna be? Isn't there one more, or is this the last one?
Let's see. We'll probably do one for June, right?
Yeah,
And
we might-
July
yeah,
will be the
we'll
movie.
squeak
So
one-
yeah,
we'll squeak
so
one
one
in,
more.
yeah.
Yeah, so like one more. Yeah, one more. Which still feels unreal. I mean,
Yeah,
like man,
it's
like
insane.
what a fun journey this has been. Hopefully
So
everyone's enjoyed it.
basically,
Yeah.
we've got 2 more shows till our review.
Right.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. No. I'm just on a high right now. What could I say? You know, just it's been a fun journey. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed it as much as I have and you have, and we have been doing this. So you guys can of course follow me everywhere on social media, mainly Twitter and Letterboxd. At Nick Zednik, and of course you guys can hear me over at the Vigilante 1939 podcast. Just search the name of the show wherever you get your podcast at, and you'll find me over there. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You can find me at Adam_Leafs fan on Twitter. I'm also on Blue Sky. I'll put the link for that in the description because the name it's too long. So I'll just put it in the description. We also have a Facebook group, which will also be in the description. You can click that. I will add you. We can continue the conversation then. But remember, until next time, Superman is forever. From the first time he's interviewed by Lois Lane to the last. So long, everybody.